All right, looks like we're live. Yeah, welcome to a semi-surprise live stream. Some interesting things going on right about now. It is the mixed feelings live stream because some cool stuff happened this weekend and some not cool stuff happened this weekend, and I don't know how to feel about any of it. So yeah, let me just get set up here. I know we got at least one person watching. Just got to get into chat so I can actually see anything you're saying because I can't see it yet. But there we go. Angus explains Stupid Robot Fighting League and Ace Vegas are all here. That's awesome. Glad to be surrounded with friendly faces as I'm fighting with YouTube. I'm getting errors and it's driving me nuts. You always do these while I'm rendering a video. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because, I mean, if you're waiting on the machine to render, then that's not so bad because if you're watching this on a different device, then it helps pass the time. I had a 2.5 hour long render today, and that's part of why I'm a little frustrated with YouTube right now because they are... I got a bunch of errors when I tried to publish the video, and I'm still having persistent errors, and it is making me annoyed. And so I tweeted at them, no response, which is not a huge surprise. That's weird. Why doesn't that look proper? I just shared it in the group. That's strange. I've become obsessed with YouTube. Yeah, that obsession grows rapidly. I speak from personal experience. Let's see, is this the right link? _89 blah 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 ZE. Yeah, no, it's all there. Okay. More technical, not great working stuff. It's just been that kind of a day. It's been that kind of a weekend, honestly. I was having trouble on Friday as well with YouTube. How's the audio, everybody? Always good to ask that question. I was tweaking some OBS settings. Shouldn't have been anything to mess with audio. Okay, now it's sharing properly. But I just want to make sure because I know that OBS sometimes likes to put in an echo, a little reverb that I never asked for. So I just want to make sure it's not doing that again. It's been a few live streams since it's happened, so I think I've slayed that dragon dead, but I also did update OBS just the other day, so who knows? Sometimes when you update things, it reverts your setting. Windows 10 is notorious for that. Which drives me nuts. Updates shouldn't revert settings. And, I mean, if it had to for some reason, it should give you a big old notification. Hey, just so you know, before it was doing this, now it's going to do this. Would you like it to still do the thing it did before? Click here. That would be nice. Anyways, very salty today. Brace yourselves. All right, just finishing the social sharing here. Yeah, that's pretty good. So I was going to go live like 45 minutes ago, but I've been fighting with YouTube to try and get my latest video set up all fine. Audio's good. Thank you. Thank you. Are you from the U.S.? Great accent. Oh, thank you. I was born in Portland, but I've lived in Vancouver since I was 4 years old. Tell me about your hat. This is the Vancouver Canucks. I haven't watched much hockey at all this year. They were eliminated. The playoffs haven't started yet. But at my day job, I'm in a hockey pool. And so I was having a bad hair day. So I decided to throw on a hat and support my Vancouver Canucks, even though they're not in the playoffs. Felt like a thing to do. Ray is from Canada. Ray lives in Canada. Ray was born in the United States, but he's pretty much as Canadian as he can get, having not, you know, actually been born here. So maybe that's why I appreciate being a Canadian so much more, is I'm a little bit of an imposter myself, I suppose. I don't know. I was literally going to go take a nap when I saw this. Would so rather watch this than nap. That's cool. Maybe my soothing dulcet tones will help you fall asleep. We'll try to keep it interesting so you don't. But anyways, yeah, so here's what was going on today. I spent a couple hours editing a video today, which I'm rather proud of. I've got it here on my display here. I don't think I'm showing anything that I'm not allowed to show. It's how to get a free upgrade when you travel. I'm talking about cruises, trains, planes, whatever, hotels, resorts, etc. So it felt pretty good about it. It's a longer video for me. It's 12 minutes long. I put a lot of little graphic overlays and things. You can kind of see it in the suggested thumbnails there. And then I put some effort into a good thumbnail and all that. I went to render the thing, and it took over 2.5 hours to render. So I was like, well, geez. That was surprising. But it's probably because of all the graphic overlays and stuff, and that it's a longer video, being 12 minutes long, longer for me. My primary channel, Vacation Impossible. So anyways, I render the thing, takes 2.5 hours, and a little preview and Premiere comes up, says, oh, it's going to be like 2 hours, 47 minutes, something like that. I'm like, well, hot damn, I got some free time. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to fire up my NES Classic and play some classic video games. I beat Mario 2, I got pretty far into Mario 3, then I stopped for lunch, and I was watching some of Pat Contry stream on Twitch, because he was playing some Lost levels, and then later some Turtles in Time. So I was like, okay, that's cool, and it finally wraps up, and I was hoping to go live today, and so it was around 2 o'clock that the thing finally finishes, you know, rendering, so I get it uploading and everything, and then when I go to publish, I'm getting nothing but errors. I'm getting monetization and syndication errors, and so it looks like it hasn't published at all. And I'm trying to troubleshoot it, and so then I see, you know, I open another window, I go into my video manager, and it shows it as live. And so that's cool, ish, but it didn't publish quite the way I want. It was still giving me an error anytime I tried to turn on monetization. So I'm like, all right, I go in, I add some end cards, I add some info cards. It allows me to save those changes. A couple of my keywords were ranking, so I used TubeBuddy's auto sort function to to resort those. It saves that just fine. But as you can see, it's still giving me errors about this this monetization thing, which is kind of irritating. So I tweeted at YouTube and Team YouTube on Twitter. No reply, but apparently there's a thing where I guess PewDiePie made some sort of congratulations song or something. I don't know. Presumably, he was allowing people to use it. I don't know. But all of the tweets at Team YouTube right now are about some organization having copyright claims on PewDiePie's song. And so I don't know if these two facts are related, or if YouTube's just distracted by a stupid PewDiePie thing. You know, apologies if you're a fan of his, but it's just kind of frustrating when the big guy gets a hangnail. You know, it becomes a, you know, all hands on deck, and little guys are getting errors that are preventing them from publishing videos, and it's like, well, you know, good luck hearing those chirping noises. Little salty today, I warned you. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'll go live for as long as I can. I might be able to do an hour and a half if I'm lucky. It might be a lot shorter. I don't know. Life gets in the way. I got some family who's sick right now, so I'm kind of on call for them. So I've got my phone here sound off, but I need to glance at it every now and then in case they need me. So that's just the kind of day I've been having. Although I crushed Mario 2. Mario 2 put up no fight today. Took Wart down in like record time. It's probably my fastest run. Beat it in less than half an hour, which, I mean, I can't remember the last time I beat it. I'm not sure I ever beat it, to be completely honest with you. I never owned it growing up. I never owned the cartridge. I think the first time I actually owned it was on Virtual Console on the Wii. So anyways, I played it a little bit, rented it a bit when I was a kid. So, you know, the video games are going well, but the YouTube not so much. And I would rather switch those. I would rather be frustrated by video games, curse like the angry video game nerd, but also be successful like the angry video game nerd. So that's my day. Anyways, I'm going to intermittently go in and try to fix this video while I'm doing things for you guys. Hopefully that's not an entirely bad thing, because you get to see a little behind the scenes. If you're not yet monetized, you can see what some of those options look like, kind of glance at how a different channel might be managed. I've got TubeBuddy installed here as a browser plugin, which is absolutely fantastic. I've got the Legendary paid version. There's free, pro, star, and legendary. I kind of went off the deep end in August and just went like whole hog into the thing. I discovered it. I tried the free version for 2 weeks. Fell in love with it, but I was a little frustrated because, you know, some of the things are a little limited. You only get 3 tag suggestions. You don't get all of the best practices, stuff like that. So I'm like, this is an amazing tool. I went whole hog, got legendary. Most people probably don't need that. Pro or star is probably good enough for you. And if you can't afford anything, free is still super helpful. There's an affiliate link down below. This video is not sponsored. If you join the Small YouTubers Boost Facebook group, I've got the URL up there now. I changed my layout for the live streams a little bit. So facebook.com/group/small YouTubers Boost. Check the announcements. There's a discount code there for 20% off if you decide to get the paid version. So anyways, get that out of the way. Just because people often are asking, you know, like, hey, you know, what are all these funky tools? You're seeing buttons and things here that wouldn't normally be there, and that's just TubeBuddy doing its thing. I tried this in IE, I tried this in Firefox, I tried this in Google Chrome. It is definitely a YouTube problem. So I figure I'm going to try and monetize my video, and if I still get an error, then I'll help somebody out, and then we'll come back, and we'll just alternate back and forth. Oh, hey, look, I'm ranking on another term. I wasn't get a free upgrade. I wasn't ranking before. Now I'm rank 11. That's awesome. So you can watch this in real time. I'm going to show you the TubeBuddy thing. Those white numbers inside the green boxes are how I would appear in search results to somebody, a generic somebody. So it's called incognito mode. And when I first uploaded this video earlier today, I was only ranking for 3 terms. I've done virtually nothing to it since then except add an end card, an info card, and sort the tags. Then I ranked on a 4th one. Now I'm ranking on a 5th one, which is very nice. So TubeBuddy's got this cool function. You click sort, and it does 2 things. One, it'll point out if you've accidentally used the same tag twice. And if you have, it'll appear in red, and there'll be a button to click that says remove duplicates, which is quite nice, because you only have 500 characters for your tags. But then you can also sort. Now, this is a theory. We don't know. It's not proven. But with anything with the algorithm in YouTube, we don't know things for a fact, generally speaking. That where the tags appear may or may not be relevant. But I just like sorting, because that way, if I'm going to go in and I'm going to play with the tags, I'll work from the bottom up, so that I know if anything is ever ranked, I sort it to the front. So I'm just going to click auto sort. You see the order has now changed. All of the ranking things are at the beginning and in order. The lower the number, the higher you appear in search. So 1s are great, 2s are good, 11s are okay, 12's not bad, and then everything else is So I'm going to save that change, just sorting those. That's weird. Okay, now it looks like one of them stopped ranking. Maybe I'm just going to leave that alone. I'm just going to go back in here and refresh that. And they do say it's not good to be, like, changing your tags and descriptions too frequently. YouTube kind of freaks out and be like, whoa, hold on, you playing a game? What's your video really about? But I haven't even done any social sharing for this yet. It's got 9 views and 2 thumbs up, which for having shared absolutely nowhere and knowing YouTube's kind of broken notification thing, is not bad. Now I'm not ranking for get a free upgrade anymore. That is weird. So let's see. You go to the monetization tab. You click monetize with ads. There's different options you can have to monetize your video. Display ads are the things that appear in the top right-hand corner. That's like a minimum that you have to have for anything monetized. You also have the option for overlay ads. So this only appears on desktop, and it's when you're watching a video, there's the little box. You can click the X to make it disappear, but it's like the old school internet ads of old. There's something called sponsored cards, which I don't like using because I don't want them being confused with things that I'm specifically endorsing, so I never use those. But those are like info cards that pop up, but they'll be for advertisers. They won't be things you created. I never do that just because I don't want to have that level of confusion. If something pops up, and it's a product that I don't believe in, just something that I don't like, I don't want that. Skippable video ads, you're probably well familiar with. These are the ads that display at the beginning of your video, but you have the option of skipping them. Old Stephen Colbert joke from, I guess, maybe 6 months, a year ago. He often ended his videos with a call to action where he says, click subscribe. It's almost as satisfying as skip ad. I'm sure we've all clicked skip ad a lot, and I'm actually rocking premium, so I don't see the ads myself anymore. And so if your video is longer than 10 minutes, you have this ad breaks thing that appears in the bottom where you can create ads that will appear, skippable video ads, in the middle of your video. I don't like doing that, generally speaking, unless there's a natural break point. So normally I'll just let I'll have one maybe before and maybe one after. I mean, if an ad shows at the end of the video, you were exposed to an ad because you didn't click on my end card to watch another video, so that's on you. So let's see. Everyone pray with me. Let's hope that this works. I want to put this behind me and just get past this stupid error. Come on, YouTube. Ah, there's the error. No, it's still not working. This is super frustrating. Okay. So, all right. Since that's still not working, let's see if I can help somebody with something in the meantime. Let's see here. I actually have a change for you to read in my channel banner. I don't know what that means. I actually have a change for you to rate in my channel banner. Yeah, don't know what that means. Ray owns a rodeo bull ranch in New York City. I've never been to New York City. It's on my list of things that I want to do. I would watch a rodeo bull ranch. The way they treat those bulls, I don't think I could. I've been to the Calgary Stampede once. Didn't really watch the bulls. I went to a 5440 concert, rode the ride, stuff like that. There's a super old video. This was like 2001. That's actually one of my oldest videos, is us talking about that. But yeah, I want to go to New York because the cruise terminal is next to the USS Intrepid, and the Intrepid has a space shuttle on top. So I want to go and check out the Intrepid and the space shuttle, and then take a cruise that sails right past the Statue of Liberty. So if and when I ever get to New York, that's what I'm going to do. Get new content coming. Hey, DJ Talks. Let's see here. Give a thumbs up to this live. Yes, please, Tony. Please do that. I would appreciate that. It helps more people join the conversation, and I think it improves things for everybody. We can be helping each other in chat while I'm helping people through the video stream, so I think a community is a good thing. Ray is a politician in Monaco. People since I was a kid said I should run for office, but I think I'm textbook unelectable, and I'm not going to tell you why. Hot air balloon company in the Swiss Alps. Never been there. Why do you know so much about him? I think he's a fan, and he's creative, and he's funny. Get an SSD. Yeah, that is high on my list. I need to upgrade my whole computer. I'm thinking about doing a video for that, actually. I think it'll probably be here on Small YouTubers Boost, and it'll be all about buying a PC for editing. So that's actually something that I've got sort of in the works. The King of Austria. I have been to Austria. Austria was lovely. I liked Austria. Vacation Impossible, more like Canadian Imposter. Okay. Because I'm a fake Canadian, I guess. All right. Anyways, let's get to the top here. Angus Explains was the first person to appear. I've helped him a couple of times, and I think it's actually working. But Angus, do you have something that I can help you with today? Do you have a question or a request? Just checking out the things you've said here. You're greeting some other people. Where's everybody from? Anyone from England? I've been to London 2 or 3 times, depending on how you count. I absolutely love London. I call it the dessert of Europe. It's the only part of England or the UK that I've been to. So, yeah. I have a new banner. Can you roast it, please? Oh, that's what you were saying. Yeah, probably. I think you're like the second person in chat. So as soon as I find out what Angus wants. No, that's cool. Choose somebody else. All right, Stupid Robot Fighting League. Roasting the banner. You got it, buddy. Thing is like Stupid Robot Fighting League is like such a strong supporter of my various endeavors that like it goes against my instincts to be mean to them. But all right, let's see here. Okay, yeah, there's good and bad here. So I love the font. It's popping great. The drop shadow with the red effect working great. The rest of it is a hot mess. I love you, man, but what the hell are you doing here? I mean, I know you've got the red kind of color scheme going for some consistency, and so there's that sort of identifiableness. But the background on your banner doesn't match the red that you use in your profile picture or in your thumbnails. So this is just like a redder red. This is like a blood redder red something something. And so it seems slightly off brand, little I don't know, a little Soviet maybe, a little communist or something. So that's interesting. I mean, and it's kind of hard to tell what the heck it is. There's a guy wearing shades with a zip up something, or maybe a suit jacket on one side. I think maybe holding a GoPro. And on the other side, there's like a guy with a beard. And I know you love beards. I don't get you beard people, but hey, whatever makes you happy. Somebody was asking the other day something about a beard. I forget what. And I said, oh, Stupid Robot Fighting League would definitely go. Oh, yeah, the guy was like, oh, should I grow out my beard? And I'm like, yeah, Stupid Robot Fighting League would absolutely want you to grow out that beard. I don't think they're going to be happy until we're all ZZ Top. So, I see that there's the frame there behind it, but that's because I know your channel. I've watched some of your videos. So, I recognize the frame and I know what the frame is, but to a casual viewer, they're not going to have any idea what the hell that is. And so presumably what I'm looking at in the foreground here is a couple robots smashing each other, but I mean, you did some, like, I kind of see what you're going for because it's part of that same image, I think, judging from the lines that I'm seeing and everything. So it's like the robots are in color and everything else is this monochromatic black and red. So that's kind of a cool effect, and like part of the robots covering part of the word stupid, so that like there's this nice dynamic layering thing. That's fine. These robots are a hot mess. I don't know what the hell this is. Like, if somebody comes in here, there's like a wheel from a skateboard or something. Maybe from some roller skates that is like on the side of the robot's ear or something. Like, maybe that's the ear. Assuming I'm identifying anything at all. And then the other thing, it looks like a camera, to be honest. It looks like the wrong end of a camera. Like, not the lens side. This is, you know, so, like, this is not Johnny Five. A little short circuit reference for those of you in your 30s and older. So, wow. Yeah, I just... I hope that's enough of a roast for you. I hope that's what you're looking for. I don't necessarily know you know, what to replace it with that would be much better. But that's sort of, yeah, that's me trying to be mean about your banner. I don't know if I pulled it off or if it was what you're looking for, but yeah. I mean, if I were to give some practical advice, I would say zooming out, so that people at different resolutions can tell a little bit more clearly what's going on. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. And I mean, I like how in your thumbnails you get like the two faces kind of going face to face. I think that's kind of cool. So, I mean, you could have that off to the side or something if you wanted to do that. Something that really, because like I'm trying to look at your thumbnails that really showcase what you do. And what you do is so unique and so original that it's not like you can go into incognito mode and search other people and be inspired by them, because nobody's doing anything like what you're doing. So you have to kind of invent the wheel. You're putting your feet in the wet cement of this whole genre, really. So, I mean, short of looking, like the closest thing would be things like battle bots and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a tricky one. I guess if you, and I haven't watched some of your videos in a while, so and my memory's not the greatest, but if you have an opportunity to do any like B-roll beauty shots of the robots, that might give you some images that you can work with for a banner that might more accurately depict what's going on. But hey, love the font. The font is popping. So you did a good job there. Hopefully that wasn't too savage, says the Canadian who, you know, apologizes for everything. Yeah, too busy graphically, hard to make sense of it. Yeah. Love the term hot mess. You know what the funny thing is I always thought that was a compliment. Hot, like attractive, and mess is not necessarily a bad thing, depending, you know? Things can be too orderly. So, like, mess is, like, it detracts from it, but it's like, I always thought hot mess was, like, you know, you're hot as in attractive, but you're a little bit of a mess, but that humanizes you. So he was like, she was a hot mess, and I'm like, really? I don't think that's what they mean. I think they mean hot like in the sauna, like you're sweating, like it's not pleasant. It's just is uncomfortable. But that's not the first place. The first few times I heard that, and even to this day, like my mind goes somewhere else. You better not say sorry after roasting me. I will try to remember that, assuming we get to you today and your request is a roast. This is Ray roasts. That's alliterative. That works. Should we go check on my stupid video? I'm sharing my frustration with everybody. Actually, no, wait, hold on. I shouldn't do that. Go back. Let's do it this way. Just for a moment, I think I displayed something that I'm technically not supposed to display. Don't want to piss off YouTube. Let's see. Will they let me monetize my dang video? Then maybe you can watch me share it. It's interesting watching how those rankings change in real time. So, I mean, and I'm surprised that doesn't happen more than I see it, because, you know, it's live. Everyone's constantly uploading things, changing things. You know, different videos are being watched in different ways and to different degrees. So I'm surprised that those numbers aren't more in flux than they are. All right, Ace of Vegas, what can I do for you? Yo, Surfle. Oh, Stupid Robot Fighting League. Oh, man, yeah. An acronym is probably helpful. Because it is a mouthful, Stupid Robot Fighting League. I've said it enough that I'm getting a pattern down. Working on your website, too. Took your suggestion. That's cool. Sound is clear. Just seeing what Ace of Vegas might want. Canadian Imposter. Yeah, that's me. Rodeo. Is that right, Joe? I'm in Vegas too. Oh, Joseph F. Borg is in Vegas. That's cool. You know what, Vegas people? A total sidebar here. When you guys had Jelly, that was the coolest radio station of all time. As far as I love Jelly. I could not get it in Canada. Like, even to listen online, I had to like go through like a thing that, you know, hides your IP to listen to it in Canada. But God, I love Jelly when Jelly was a thing. It was all about people would like, it was like Reddit it was a music station basically run by Reddit is kind of what it is, but less hostile. So the idea was people would upvote or downvote songs. And so, and you had like super votes that were like rockets that would rocket it up like plus 10 likes equivalent or something like that. And then you had bombs that would be like drop it. Like that. And so, like, if a song received a certain number of bombs, they would pull it off the air mid-song. Didn't happen often, but it was kind of cool when it did. And their selection, they had these great, like, underground remixes and dance mixes and EDM stuff that was, like, a little bit obscure or, like, an obscure remix of a well-known song. And so whenever I was listening to Jelly, you know, I would have to have like something on my phone or my tablet or my laptop or at home on my desktop because I'd constantly be copying song names. I'm like, I gotta get that song, I gotta get that mix. And I guess it was financially unsustainable, which sucks because I miss Jelly. Jelly was awesome. They're trying something here in Vancouver similarly, but it's adult contemporary, so it's a little less fun for me. A lot of music I still like, actually, but I haven't really bothered to like get an app or anything. But R.I.P. Jelly. Tear. Johnny 5 is alive. That's right. New series, Ray Roast. Think you got a brand here. I'll try anything. Still working on the changes. We can move on to the next person. That's cool. Yeah, see, Joseph of Borg knows Jelly. Jelly was awesome. Yeah, it was 2011. Sam and I tooling around in the Dodge Charger that we rented from Dollar Rent-A-Car in Vegas. And screwing around with the radio because we hadn't yet figured out how to hook our phones in. And we just No, I think actually, no, we got the car. And it was already tuned to Jelly. And so we were just like, okay, we'll wait until a bad song comes on, and then we'll like put in up the CD we brought or hook up our phone or whatever because it's 2011. And we never did. The only time we did is when we drove out to the Grand Canyon and we got out of range of Jelly. Then it was like, oh, I guess we have to play our own stupid music now. Let's see here. So, yeah, that was Ace of Vegas. Zero Rising. Rising spelled funny. That might change the enunciation. Zero, if you're still awake, is there something that I can do for you today? You're next on the list. Kind of like an anime character there. The sound was good. Just trying to see if he said anything else. If he's still with us, maybe he nodded off. Well, we'll definitely have to make time to come back to him if he is still around, but I'm not seeing anything here or anything clear about a request that he might have had. So the next person who spoke in chat, this is how we do. We go chronologically through chat. First person to speak gets the first request in. Near as I can tell, it's the fairest way to do things. I'm open to alternative ideas, but that just seems to be the fairest and easiest to manage. Like, if I mention I'm doing a live stream, people start messaging me. I say, hey, I'm doing a live stream in 2 days. They're like, oh, put my channel down. I'm like, I'm not maintaining a list. You know, it's a bit work. And, you know, I think it's better when the people are here. They don't have to be here, but I think it's better that way. So, oh, Zero, I try not to comment much because my connection tends to be shaky. Okay. At the risk of breaking your connection, Zero, is there something that you would like? Would you like me to look at your channel? Would you like me to check out the tags on a specific video? Would you like me to show you a tutorial on how to do something? Do you have a question about YouTube? A question about what it's like to run a large Facebook group? And that's one of the things about this being bittersweet. This is supposed to be the celebratory live stream of our group hitting 80,000 members, which is an absolutely insane number. And I take like maybe 10% of the credit for. Because honestly, it is about the community that we've built in that Facebook group, which is absolutely lovely. And so it's the members that make it a success. I am just a traffic cop. I'm like the king of the traffic cops, but I don't make it great. I just get out of the way so you guys make it what you want it to be, and you've made it into something special, and so thank you. But yeah, those numbers are just like crazy. I think we already got like another 100 members since we hit 80K yesterday. So that was pretty awesome. So yeah, Zero, do you have a request? Even if it's pretty random. I guess just some advice on your channel. Just started adding some thumbnails. Or I just started adding thumbnails. Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, doing custom thumbnails is absolutely a good idea for everyone. Even if you don't necessarily have what you'd consider to be a great skill at Photoshop or whatever. Even if it's nothing much more than a screen grab from your video that you've uploaded in HD. If for no other reason than somewhat game the algorithm, to be completely honest. Because it shows that you've put the effort into making custom thumbnail. So like that's the bare minimum of effort. Now if you do more than that, you will do better and succeed better, but that's sort of the floor. So working up from there, oh, Team YouTube just responded to my tweet. Hi there, do you see any error messages when trying to monetize a video? Send screenshots and more details our way. We'll take a look, keep us posted. Yeah, I do have a screenshot, so let's just do this thing. Zero Rising, I'm going to come back to you. I will not forget. I'm just really wanting to resolve this this thing on Twitter. Trying to remember what account I was using. I think it was my Cowman account. If you're interested in following me personally on Twitter, I am cow_man, if you're at all curious. What's this? Ronald Suarez liked the reply. Okay, well, I'm going to like the reply too, because I like getting a response to my questions. Okay, do you see any error messages while trying to... Yes. Let's just find that screenshot I put. How much of this are you guys able to see right now? Pretty much nothing. Okay, that's cool. Just give me a quick moment. I think that error message is probably good to share. Raw file name, account. Just want to make sure I'm not sharing anything that's, like, problematic. Any personal information that I don't want out in the public space. No, this is all fine. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to share this straight-up screenshot. Yes, still occurring. Tried multiple browsers with no luck. And hey, you know, those of you with the Twitter, if you want to give me a signal boost on this, here's the interaction. See if it'll let me post it in chat. Never lets me post in chat for some reason. Ugh. Anyways, this is me trying to get things resolved with YouTube. So I'm glad that they're responding. Hopefully, by the time we're done with Zero Rising, maybe it'll be fixed. Let's all pray to the internet gods together. So, yeah, so a little bit of a challenge with finding your channel, because searching the term, your channel doesn't seem to come up. I'm going to switch the filter over to just channel results, so hopefully we can find you that way. Yeah. Oh, you know what it's doing? I know what it's doing. Let's remove that filter. It's Google, it's Alphabet, it's YouTube saying, we know what you want better than you know what you want, which drives me nuts. Now, I understand that they've got pretty strong algorithms behind their searches, both Google and YouTube, the #1 and #2 search engines in the world, that do have slightly different algos behind the scenes, but they try to autocorrect for misspellings, which on the surface sounds like a good idea, but sometimes I mean to spell it the way I spell it. And also, they often check for synonyms, which again, on the surface, good idea, right? Like, if I search puppy, maybe the result I get is actually tied to dog, not puppy, and it will probably know to search both dog and puppy for me, right? Sounds like a good idea, except maybe I need it to be a puppy and not an older dog. So that can be a little frustrating. This is raised like frustration vent stream. Oh, another tweet. Watching you live now. I'll like that. I'll retweet that. Yeah, let's make YouTube know that people are watching. I don't know, maybe I'll get more results. So anyways, the thing here is it's saying Zero Rising without the E. So it does say search instead for, and I can click on it with the E. So I'm going to do that. Is that the right image? It looks very different in the chat. Maybe not. No, I guess that is it. It's interesting. The coloration looks a little different in the scaled down version. Okay, so anyways, we found it. So that's cool. Hello, my name is Nicole. Hi, Nicole. AKA Zero Rising. I'm a 17-year-old artist, animator, and writer. I believe in sharing my art with ... A lot of good stuff there. A couple of thoughts. I would start off, I wouldn't even bother mentioning the fact that your name's Nicole necessarily. Or, you know, you could. It's up to you. I think the hello, my name is, it's not very searchable. It's not super intriguing. It's relatively commonplace. So what I would say is something like, I'm Nicole, aka Zero Rising, or just say, I'm Zero Rising, and then go from there. And so you talk about being a 17-year-old artist, which is interesting. The part of that I would make a note of is that as long as you keep your description looking like this, you have to remember on your birthday to go change that. every year on your birthday, to keep it accurate and current. Otherwise, it's slightly misleading. And also, how much is your age tied to your content? I don't know. And so that's just something to think about and be conscious of. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying make a choice for yourself, but make it a choice, not just something you think you have to do. So, yeah. but the things that I really like here: artist, animator, and writer. Instantly tells people what you're all about. And I love it. I don't know if you've watched a previous live stream, but I love it. I want to actually... you've seen me go on, if you've watched these before, many times, about talk about something you believe in so that your audience can attach that to you. I just want to show you another great example really quickly here. And believe it or not, I'm doing something bizarre. I'm searching Facebook on Twitter. You're like, what? Don't cross the streams. So Facebook does one particular thing it does very well that impresses me, is very good, professional, and like cutting edge, is their description of themselves on Twitter. Our mission is to give people the power to build community and bring the world closer together. Need help? Visit here. How great is that? That could apply to a lot of different things. Frankly, that could apply to my Vacation Impossible channel. That could apply to this channel. Yeah. We want to give people the power to build a community and bring the world closer together. Absolutely. Who would not believe in that? Who would not get along with that? I mean, isolationists and xenophobes, I suppose, but I think by and large it's a broad appeal. And it gives you a value right away that a lot of people can identify with. Very good. You believe in sharing your art. Great. If it goes on from there, and I'll look at your About page a little later, but I'm curious, but if it goes on from there to add further meat on the bones, that would be great. You know, like, why do you believe? What are you trying to accomplish by sharing it? But you're off to a really great start here. And so the image is actually really good. It looks a little different when it scales down, but that's just, I think, a property of the style. But I don't have any concrete suggestions really for it, other than possibly maybe increasing the vibrance and saturation, but that might kind of ruin the image. I don't know. I think it's actually pretty good. So, okay. You got 104 videos, 54 subscribers, and I'm noticing that there's a couple of your videos showing up here that are tagged with new, which is good. I do find it interesting that one of the videos is only 8 seconds. I think when a video is less than... Geez. What's the threshold for end cards? 20 seconds? 30 seconds? I forget exactly. 45, something like that. I think when it's less than 20 seconds, it gets a little problematic, because even if you get 1 million views, your watch time is going to be really small for the video. So, and this is a preview for a little animation series I want to start in order to incorporate my art into my channel. I hope you enjoy. So, I can understand why it would be short, because it's sort of like a test animation, and animation takes a lot of work, and frankly, the odds are slightly stacked against animators on YouTube, and it sucks. And some are hugely successful, you know. My son's really a big fan of, like, Jaden Animation and The Odd Ones Out and other animators. And also in the group, we've got Alex Animates, who does some good work. So, you know, small and large, people have found their own niches and level of success. But the problem is that it takes so long to animate things that it's hard to get that watch time up, especially if you're looking to monetize. But also because, you know, watch time is the king metric of all when it comes to YouTube. So if you're not getting great watch time, that can kind of hold you back. It's held me back. I like having short tip videos. I want to get to the point. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to have like this long opening intro animation, 3 minutes of me begging for you to subscribe, like, and comment down below, but please do those things. But, you know, and filler. You know, and waiting for the goods. I don't like doing that as a creator, but at the same time I understand how that can add to watch time. So if you're looking at like an 8-second thing, you could certainly still show it, but you might want to consider prefacing it or following it up by a little explanation of the intent behind it. So it's not just in the description. And so that might be, you know, just filming you talking about it, or it might be like a still image of the last shot or the first shot. Say, okay, so what you just saw was this. What I'm thinking about is doing this. Do you think I should do it? Comment down below. It doesn't have to be very long, but just so it gets it to a little bit meatier, where we're talking, you know, at least minimum like 20 to 30 to 45 seconds, at least in that range. Because then if you do get, if for whatever reason it clicks and people start watching, you'll at least be getting some level of watch time. Your retention percentage should be high, which is good. That's an important metric too, but watch time, like I said, is the king metric of all. If you can get watch time, then everything else will kind of fall along and follow along. And so that's just one thought. And also because, you know, you have to have a minimum duration so you can have end cards. End cards tells the algorithm that you're putting all your effort in, and it gets you a little +3 points to House Hufflepuff or whatever you want to call it. And I don't know that number. I made the number up. But we do know that you get an algorithmic advantage when you do all of those sorts of things. That's why it's part of so many checklists. It's not just a good strategy to grow your channel by giving people things to click on and reminding them to subscribe and stuff like that. I think the algorithm, and from what I've been able to tell from my own little experimentation, it seems confirmed to me that the algorithm favors you more when you do those things. So you've got a banner here. The background's kind of interesting, kind of like a bat Dracula kind of thing behind the kind of gothy person, and the look there is nice. The line art on the character really makes it pop against the sort of softer, slightly pastel background. I think that's really good. The text is where things get a little problematic. It's very hard to read. Honestly, at a glance, people are pattern recognition devices at their core. That's what our brains are sort of auto doing all the time. In fact, if you understand human vision, it's really quite interesting. You know, rods and cones, it's actually a series of dots, and your brain is filling it in to make it a single crisp image. And so that is recognizing patterns. So every day, every moment of every day that you're awake and your eyes are open, you're looking at anything, you are a walking, talking pattern recognition machine. But the human brain is also lazy, because in order to really think about something and to focus and to put in extra effort, getting a little neuroscience here, but it's something that's interesting. If you can understand this, you can manipulate it maybe, is like there's glucose levels, and they actually measure the consumption of glucose when someone's really concentrating on something hard versus relaxing, you know, mentally speaking. And so you consume more glucose when you're concentrating and thinking and working the brain really hard. And that's not super efficient, because, you know, if you're dying in the desert, or it's been a while since you've eaten, or you're a caveman hunting for something, you want to use as little fuel as possible, because you don't know when the next meal is going to come along. So from an evolutionary standpoint, we actually have an evolutionary reason to be lazy when it comes to thinking. Right? And so we are a lazy pattern recognition machine. That's what we are when you put those pieces of information together. What does that mean? That means when I look at this, I see 0 preserving. I intellectually know it says 0 rising, because I've seen it earlier. I searched for it. It was an issue searching correctly for it. But as I glance at it, I have to physically stop my brain from jumping to the conclusion that that says 0 preserving. It's just the pattern that my mind sees. So the font is, it's very kind of wavy. It's not really a brush stroke exactly. It's got like a bit of a gothic, it's almost like a tattoo, which is kind of cool. And that looks good from a style standpoint. From a legibility, readability standpoint, it kind of falls down a little. So generally speaking, I recommend people to do block fonts. That might go against the aesthetic of what you're trying to achieve, because I'm looking at your thumbnails here and I'm not seeing any block font style. And so block fonts have some advantages for them, that they're easy to read and that they often scale a lot better at different resolutions. But the problem is that might not be the style you're going for, and that's fine. So that's a choice that you can make. You might want to just thicken it up a little. You could have the drop shadow a little closer to it. The distance between the gray shadow behind the black text is significant, such that it's a nice style, but it's not making it more readable. It's actually making it less legible, and it's actually a little less consistent. I mean, there's obviously a center point in the R and rising where they are the most aligned, the background and the foreground of the text, and as you work out from there, you see that it splays out a little bit more. So like the Z's on the left, or the Z's if you prefer, they're like half overlapped, but the G on the far end of the right almost has a twin next to it. It's almost like there are two G's. And so it's a little inconsistent in how it appears, and the drop shadow is, I think, in parts, it makes, you know, some of it kind of pop, but some of it not. Like, for example, in the R, I'm really diving into the weeds here, so hopefully this is useful, but if you look at the R, you've got the little part of the R that goes down, the forward part of the R, that goes down from the curve. That you don't see any gray backing at all. So either it's perfectly aligned at that point, or there actually is no gray. Maybe it was a P. And I think that's part of why I thought preserving for some reason, is because I saw that like the P component of the R was highlighted, but the part that makes it look different from a P, that makes it look like an R, had less emphasis. And so I think I saw the P and then the R, and I went on from there. And then I saw the E. That E really pops for some reason. And the ING I picked up because that's an easy pattern we see all the time, and that's where I got preserving from. So I think that if you make the distance between the black and the gray, between the foreground and the drop shadow, a lot closer, maybe have it not like centered in the center and splaying from there, but maybe having it just an offset, like a standard drop shadow. that might work a little bit better to improve legibility. And if you can thicken the font up at all, to bold it, whatever you want to call it, I think that would also improve legibility. And so, looking at the bottom line, art. I can read art just fine. The next word gets a little problematic. Is it fanatics? Or is it plus antics? Are a more and more, presumably from context. But it looks like art fanatics are a more. That lazy brain. And I mean, maybe it looks different to everybody else. In fact, in chat, guys, when you glance at that, what do you see without trying? Might be a little late because I've been talking about it so long, so I think I spoiled the control sample here. But what does it look like to you? You know, also, I'm kind of rebroadcasting it, so maybe the image quality isn't quite as great as the way I'm seeing it. But what does it look like to you? So maybe a compromise between art and business, or art and whatever you want to call it, algorithmic success, or you know, clarity of communication. Maybe the zero rising, you know, you do have in a sort of a nice kind of tattooy brush font, whatever that is, but maybe the subtitle, maybe that goes a block font, or is something else a little bit, where you that's where you make you adjust the dial slightly towards clarity and legibility, keeping the other side, so that you can keep the other side of the dial a little bit more artistic. You know, it might sound pompous, but it's something that I've been coming to terms with, is that as creators, we are artists of a fashion. You know, and some people are like, yeah, obviously, Ray, and other people are kind of like, well, I guess. Like, it's not my traditional, you know, growing up in the 80s, my traditional sense of art, editing, but there is an art to it, even if all you're doing is editing videos. So, you know, and, you know, performance art, public speaking. Is this live stream art? I couldn't tell you. But there's parts of it that could be considered artistic. I think, you know, like having a banner and things of that nature. I don't know. It's a difficult question, to be sure. But if we are to consider ourselves artists, then we have to ask some of the questions that art has struggled with throughout time. There's always been a struggle between art and commerce. And, you know, at different times, it's trended in different directions. Commerce sometimes supports art, but it often has an ask along with it. You know, I want to be your patron, but could you use more blue? You know, I want to be your patron, but I want to show your painting in New York where you live in San Francisco and you don't care what New Yorkers think. Whatever. And so it's always been a push-pull. And so now, with this digital economy, the side hustle, whatever you want to call it, the sharing economy, where art gets into that, is, since we're almost our own employers in these hobbies that can become businesses, we, I think, internalize the struggle a lot more, which is good and bad, because you're fighting against yourself, but you're also in charge. So it's not like, you know, there's this fantastic story in journalism about how Edward R. Murrow was trying to end the McCarthy sort of witch hunt trials, as they've been called, in the American Senate, I believe. And so he wanted to go after McCarthy with, like, factual reporting, but he wanted to shine a light on sort of the scapegoating of people who consider themselves socialists and stuff like that, and basically misbranding people as things that they weren't, and the accusation became the conviction, like the witch trials, things like that. He wanted to shine a light on that, and so the corporate entity that he worked for, NBC or CBS or whoever it was, they said, fine, if you want to do that, but you also have to do this thing called Person to Person, which was an interview show that he had to do on, like, the Sundays or something, where he would interview a movie star or a celebrity. And so that was the trade-off that he made between art and commerce, or his passion and the business, however you want to define that. And so in order to do the thing that he wanted to do, he had to do something that sold ad time, that, you know, paid the bills, kept the lights running, whatever it is. So YouTubers, as our own kind of master of our own channels, we internalize this because we've got that struggle between, well, if I do this thing, then the algorithm might just support me more, or my audience will maybe click subscribe more, but artistically, I don't want to do it. Artistically, I don't want to ask for subscribers. I want my videos to stand on their own on any platform. If it could be shown on the Travel TV channel, or Amazon Prime, or YouTube, or somewhere else, I would like it to be like that. And if I'm saying, please like and subscribe below, then that really only applies to YouTube. It's very clearly a YouTube product. And so that's something I've resisted over the years, and frankly has held me back from more success. I started making videos in 2001 before there was a YouTube. I was rendering them as AVIs. I was using Premiere Pro 2.0. I was encoding things with a separate capture card. I had to capture my audio and video separately. I captured the video at 144 pixels tall for our first season. Our second season went up to like 212 pixels. I was so excited because the quality was a vast improvement back then. I had to sync up the audio for everything manually because I had to capture them separately. You know, the resolution was poor. You can watch my old videos. They look like ass. If you don't mind a little salty language, but I'm salty Ray today, so, you know, we'll just have to cope. And so back then I was like, wouldn't it be great if one day, and because I'm, you know, Canadian, wouldn't it be great if one day I was on the CBC? I actually thought that on occasion. I remember my uncle one time, he was like, you know, the stuff you're doing is actually great. If it was just, you know, if there was just a little bit more technical stuff and a little bit better, it could be one day, you know, I could picture that being on the CBC. And I was like, oh. That was one of my early kind of encouragements that I actually received, because a lot of my family was like, why are you wasting your time on this? And hey, it was a fair thought at the time, and certainly there was no opportunity to monetize it in 2001. And so I was like, I would do my personal render in Avi, but those files were huge. They were like 35 megs, and like, that is too big for the internet in 2001. So I had to render it in something called Real Player to get it down to like 13 megs, and then I'd have to be on like MSN Chat or ICQ and convince my friends to let me send them the file. And so the file had to be small and get to them quickly. They're not going to sit around all day to watch a 5-minute video of me screwing around in West Edmonton Mall. It didn't make any sense for them. And so I had to get the file size really small, send it to them, get them to watch it. And then, like, I tried hosting them on GeoCities, but it was technically against GeoCities' terms of service, so they kept shutting down the site, so it became this whack-a-mole, you know, of trying to find somewhere to host it. So, like, that's the struggle that I come from, that I began in, and because of that background, I always thought, like, I don't know what platform this is for. I don't know where I'm going to be able to host this. Okay, GeoCities didn't work. What about, what is it, Angel Fire was, I think, another one. You know, different things. And so I tried to be a little bit more modular. But now, I mean, YouTube is the big dog. And so I've slowly given up that commitment that nobody probably cared about, except me, to be a little bit more successful on the platform. So now I have end cards, you know, and I do occasionally ask for a like and a subscribe or a comment in my Vacation Impossible videos. So, you know, but if I'm ever approached by Amazon Prime, if maybe they say, hey, we'd love to have you on our platform, for one thing, all the stuff on Amazon Prime has to be captioned. So there's a piece of work there. But also, I would have to go through and be like, all right, I got to remove all the YouTube references, basically. You know, because it's going to be in a different place. Like and subscribe is not a thing on Amazon Prime. It wouldn't make any sense. So anyways, it's a bit of a tangent, but it's just something that I think, as creators struggle with. And so don't let people tell you what to do when it comes to that. Make your own artistic choice for yourself. Sometimes your audience will respect you for it, or maybe you'll respect yourself more, or it'll continue being fun for you for longer, whatever it is. But you can also make the choice that, you know what? I want the algorithm to work for me. I want to be a success on YouTube. YouTube's my platform, you know, and so maybe I'll make a compromise. You know, maybe, okay, I'll ask for the subscribe, but I'll do it at the end of the video. So, like, my art is here and my commerce is at the end. And maybe that's how it works for you. So everyone makes their own choice. Don't let me tell you what to do if it sort of offends your artistic sensibilities. Sounds like I'm calling you a snowflake, and I'm not. But if it runs contrary to what you're trying to achieve in an artistic or informational sense or whatever, a style sense, then ignore me. Ignore people who tell you absolutely have to ask for a subscribe at the top of your video and have a video out every single day. If that would mean sacrificing the whole point of why you're here, then that doesn't make any sense to do. So that's a big caveat for everything I say. Let's take a look here. You got some social links, which is good. You got Facebook. That's cool. What's this next? Oh, DeviantArt. Yeah, that makes sense for you. And you got your Twitter. It's formatted correctly. That's nice. Wattpad. I am not familiar with that. I'm guessing that's for creative writing. But that's cool. Your social links are there, and they're working well. And they stand out reasonably well against the banner, so that's good. My AFMAO-related channel. I'm not sure if I said that correctly. I'm pretty sure that that's supposed to be channel, but you've got a semicolon there, which is next to the L on the keyboard, but you're going to want to fix that. So when you go in here, edit my channel, edit the module, just change the semicolon to an L so that looks more professional. And yeah, that is presumably your other channel that is related to whatever AFMAO is. Maybe that's an acronym. I don't know. or initialism. Somebody was giving me crap the other day because in one of my videos I talk about acronyms and they're like, Ray, those are initialisms. And I'm like, oh my God. Wow, nobody cares. Like, there's grammar Nazis, but this is like next level. And yeah, it's like one is when it's you say the letters, what's a good example? Because there's one where it forms a new word, like a pin. You know, like the password on your bank card is a PIN. That's where it forms a new word. And then there's ones where, you know, I'm AFK. And so I think AFK is an initialism, and an acronym is when it forms another word. I don't know that anybody cares, but somebody jumped down my throat about that. So for the record, yeah, I understand they're different, but language evolves, and if nobody's using it that way, then it doesn't matter. And I'm a guy who cares about grammar to a certain degree. And on that theme, looking at your titles, there's inconsistent capitalization. And also YouTube. YouTube is generally styled with a capital Y and a capital T. So my YouTube inspiration, the Y and the T should probably be capitalized. Inspiration's a longer word, so as a title, you should probably capitalize that word as well. It'll look just a little bit more professional. And again, the text, like what inspired me to start YouTube. You may have noticed I physically leaned in towards my monitor so that I could read that clearer. If there's any way that you can make people not have to do that, because that takes effort, and remember, people are lazy. And I mean, it's not that there's anything wrong with them. It's not that we should blame people. It's not like I don't want lazy people watching my channel. I want almost anybody watching my channel. So, you know, if there's anything you can do to make that easier to read. So, again, it's the balance of art and effectiveness for you, but some suggestions. Again, a block font, larger font, bolder font. Don't know that a drop shadow would work. Another thing is you've got a radiant fill on the background there. If you inverted it, that might actually work a little bit better because the text is somewhat in the darker side than in the brighter side. I don't know. Or just lighten the whole background up. There's a couple of different things you can do there so that the text on your thumbnails is a bit more legible. Let's see, created playlists. So whatever AFMAO is clearly something that you're focusing on. And so what I would suggest is have that as its own playlist, horizontal row, and maybe do the same with gift art commissions and art trades and reading random fan fiction. Because those are playlists that have more than 5 videos, so if you were to add them here as their own horizontal row, it would fill up the space. And so I would consider doing that. I don't know about, I'm not sure how I feel about a list of playlists for created playlists. It feels uncurated. And so I think that having your content curated is something that can be good to make your channel look more professional, make people more likely to engage because it has an organizational structure. For example, the second created playlist that I see here says ship art, which I'm curious about. From what I can see, and again, you see me, I'm leaning in and I'm squinting to see what that image is. So you can select which thumbnail displays for a playlist, and it can be any of the thumbnails for the videos there. So I'm thinking that video's thumbnail needs to be improved, just to be general, but you know, make it more visible, larger, whatever. Because right now it looks like it's in portrait, which is when you hold your phone like that, whereas it should be in landscape. Even if the video is in portrait, find a way to make it landscape. It looks like there's an image in there that is landscape. It looks like a landscape image was filmed in portrait mode. So just, you know, zoom in on the landscape image and make that the thumbnail, and it'll look better. I think it'll be more legible. But it looks like 2 people. I don't know, talking, maybe about to kiss, I don't know, just staring at each other in the eyes, lovingly, perhaps. So if its ship is in the sense of relationship, that's fine, but that's not clear. As a travel guy, as a guy who loves cruises, I see ship art, and I'm like, well, that's not a cruise ship. That's not a frigate. What the frigate's going on? Puns. So, yeah, you're going to want to have titles for your playlists that are nicely descriptive, and some of them are reading random fan fiction. Makes perfect sense. You could probably even drop the word random from it if you wanted to. I think it's fine either way. You want to capitalize fan fiction, though. Gift art commissions and art trades. Yeah, I mean, it says what it does on the tin, I think. So that's pretty good. But one of the things that people talk about in sort of an entrepreneurship area, or somebody wants to get started in the digital realm one way or another, this is probably a little less accurate for YouTube, but even still it can be for YouTube, is there are creators and then there's curators. And so if you find yourself struggling to create, if you don't have, if it's hard for you, if it's not a passion, it's tedious, whatever, some people do very well running like a blog that curates content. So you could go and you can look at tons of stuff on the internet and find what you think to be the best of the best, and then present that to people so that they don't have to do all that searching. And some people can find success there. There's a lot of top 10, top 5 lists, things like that, in both video and blog form, and other stuff out there. And then there's creators who create original content, who film themselves with their own ideas, and there is a Venn diagram that overlaps absolutely, and there can be a lot in between. And so if you're a creator who can also curate your own content to present it in a way that's accessible and appealing to your audience, then you're doing better than the person who just creates it and slaps it up there in whatever order YouTube comes up with. Is sort of what I'm saying. So to take it to sort of that next level, curation is something to keep in mind. And you got popular uploads, which is good. Giving my dogs baths and chatting. See, like that's the one thumbnail here that actually has presumably you. I'm guessing that's you, Nicole. It was streamed a month ago, 108 views, 3 hours long. Wonder what kind of watch time you got out of that. I would check your analytics for lifetime on that video to see what kind of watch time you got. And if you're interested in monetization, watch time is going to be one of those 2 metrics you got to hit: 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. Did that generate good watch time for you? If so, something to think about. And so that's interesting, but like I'm drawn to that because it looks a little different than the others. You kind of pop against the background because you got sort of your magenta shirt on, and like your darker hair against the backlit background. Normally backlit's problematic, but it creates actually good contrast there. You're looking directly into the camera. You're like, there's a connection there with the audience. So I would be curious about that. I see that it's 3 hours, and I kind of like, wow, I don't have that kind of commitment. And then I read the subject, and I'm like, okay, I'm not a dog guy, I'm a cat guy. So if it was like combing my cats and chatting, and it was like 3 minutes, 10 minutes, then I'd be like, yeah, maybe I'll check that out. But that's just me. Understanding your audience is important and what appeals to them. So, but that's interesting. Let's take a look at that About page, because I did say I wanted to look at it. I believe in sharing my art with people and helping others grow with me. That is beautiful. That is keep that sentence. Whatever changes you make to your About page, keep that sentence or some version of it, because that tells me really what you're here for. And that's the thing that I think anyone can get behind. I don't think anyone would disagree with things like that. Art has been a huge part of my life since I was a kid, and now I want to make it my career. I do have a second channel to help separate AMFMAL from my main channel, whatever that is. Profile picture by... Okay, so the profile picture was done by a different person, which is interesting. So, okay. Well, it's interesting because it's an art channel. I think one of the things that you might want to consider as a longer-term goal is to make your own profile picture one day that is at par or better than what you have right now. And what you got is really good. Don't get me wrong, it's not criticism. But the fact that you're an art channel and an artist, but your profile is created by someone else, where that's an opportunity for you to showcase your talent, it's just something to think about. It's counterintuitive for me. So, art has been a huge part of your life since you were a kid. I feel like that could be fleshed out more. It's a part of your life. What does it give you? What is the benefit of art? That is a hard question to answer, but everyone can answer it in their own way. And I think what your answer is going to be is probably going to be different and interesting versus everyone else's, who's likewise different and interesting. That might even be a good subject for a video. Maybe not necessarily while giving your dogs a bath, but something where you just talking to the camera, talk about how has art been a part of your life? What has been the benefits? How has it enriched your life? What has its cost been? Has there been a downside to art? What is the downside of art? What is the downside of letting art into your life? That could be a topic video. That could be interesting. It could be an unusual conversation, a different kind of take than your competition. And some people might come to you for that kind of stuff. That kind of, real talk where you're like, yeah, I love art. I love cruises. I have a video, the worst part of cruising. People, I think, like seeing the different dimensions of it. For example, I know podcast listeners like a longer, deeper dive into topics. So they like seeing the different dimensions of a topic. So, and I think people identify it with people who are real and more sincere and honest about things. Like, some people think I'm a giant shill for TubeBuddy. I just believe in the product. And I'm going to show you right now a place where it doesn't work right. Because I'm just going to tell you the truth. Look at that. Subscribers, it's not loading. I've talked about this many times because I use this tool every damn day. And so, yeah, it's a great tool. The subscriber thing never loads on the first time. In fact, in all of my live streams, it worked one time on the first try. It was like last time. I was like, wow, shocking. You toggle to views, toggle back to subscribers, and then it will work. So it looks like in overall there's been a decline in subscribers, but a very small one. So you're probably not seeing the kind of growth that you'd like to be seeing. And with 55 subscribers, losing one probably feels like a lot. As a percentage, it's higher. It's like 2% of your channel. And so like I can relate. I was... on Friday, I was really hoping to hit 1,300 subscribers on Vacation Impossible. And so I had my little, I had my TubeBuddy app open on my phone. And I'm not going to say how much, but probably more than I probably should have. Because I just, like, it's a ridiculous, arbitrary number. But it was just going to be kind of cool. I was looking forward to sharing that little milestone thing. It's, and I'm the first to admit, that some of the TubeBuddy milestones are a little weird. I think I've gotten to a point where they're not. But, like, early on, they'll be like, yeah, you've hit 62 subscribers. I exaggerate for effect, but I wouldn't be surprised if they considered 60 to be like a milestone of some kind. Whereas if we wanted to talk like just brutally honestly, what are the real milestones that I think everyone should agree that these are definitely milestones. You can agree others are as well, but as a baseline, 100 subscribers is important because it unlocks a custom URL for your channel. So it unlocks functionality. That's an important milestone. 1,000 subscribers enables monetization if you also have the watch time. It enables the community tab. Additional functionality if you want to do mobile live streaming. That is now part of the requirement of that. They changed that recently. I just put out a video about that was from the last live stream. So 10,000 enables Teespring integration, 30,000 enables channel memberships, 100,000 gets you verified and your silver play button, and you go on from there. And then you just look at the play button metrics, all the way up to 50 billion. So 50 million, I want to enunciate that clearly. I didn't use the B word. I know there's not that many people on the planet, just to be clear. So those are important milestones. But the other ones, they're milestones and goals we can set for ourselves, and there's nothing wrong with celebrating that, and that's great. But, I mean, if you're not paying attention to the 100, the 1,000, the 10,000, then, like, what are you doing? Because those are the ones that unlock functionality and are therefore core. Milestones. So I wanted to hit this 1,300, and so it was Friday. I had it on the table while I was doing something else. Somebody's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "It's stupid," but I'm looking forward to hitting 1,300. I'm looking forward to sharing it in Small YouTubers Boost because I just people do that. I enjoy it. And they were like, "Oh, okay. Well, when do you think you're going to hit it?" And I'm like, "Honestly, I bet I'm going to go down to 1298, just because that's the way that the world works." And like an hour later, it went down to 1298. I'm like, "Son of a." And so it wasn't until Saturday that I hit 1,300. I shared the TubeBuddy, the mobile app that gives you a little sort of image that's like, hey, you hit this milestone. I shared that. It's just a bit of fun. And so like now I'm at like 1,309 or something, and so that kind of stuff is fun. But I understand how that can be demoralizing when it goes down. That moment where it went to 1298, there was that moment of what the hell am I doing? Which probably sounds crazy, but it's all relative, right? And it was just a momentary thought, and it just flittered out of my mind. But so I can appreciate some of those challenges. And so I think some of the things that you can do to like restart subscriber growth and maintain it. I gotta talk about TubeBuddy for a moment, because TubeBuddy has its best practices, and you get access to some of them in the free version, more in the paid. Whichever one works for you, at least get the free. At least do that. Link down below. Open it in another browser window. Install the browser plugin, because when you are uploading a video, when you're editing a video, that best practices box that pops up is great, because if you didn't put an info card in there, if you didn't put an end screen, if you didn't do certain things, it will remind you. And those are often the things that I have found have helped sort of automate subscriber growth. The info card is the little thing that appears at the top that links to another video. That, I think, helps you in the algorithm, and if people do click on it, it keeps them watching your content. So that's not a bad thing. It doesn't directly give you subscribers, but it indirectly does, because if it prompts them to watch one more video, a couple times of that, they're going to be like, you know what, I got to subscribe to this. I've watched like 3 or 4 videos now. These are all good. Boom, you hit the button. You'll never know that subscribe was a direct result of you having info cards. So why not? It's a tiny little thing that pops up. It doesn't take a lot of space. It's not very distracting. Everybody does it, which is a horrible argument, I realize. But the fact that everybody does it means it's part of the YouTube culture and it's an accepted norm. So I don't think people would get pissed at you for having done it, is my point. So you get, you know, that. And then end screens is good too. And so as an artist, you potentially have an advantage here because if you have a piece of art that you could display as a static image for the last 20 seconds of your video, just tack it on to videos as you're making them. And if you just have a little bit of sound or music, or if it's something where you're talking and you continue talking through that, or maybe you just have the image up and say, hey, thanks for watching. You know, if you click like, it'll help other people find it. And if you hit subscribe, so you know that, you know, next time I put out a video, we really love to have you as a part of our community. Whatever, it could be a voiceover. If you have some music that you can use that you have the rights to, that's good too. I do that on this channel and my other channel because I have a guy who writes music for me who is awesome. His name is Cam. His stuff is top notch. And I super appreciate him doing that. He actually writes music as a way of relaxing and de-stressing. He has a rough day at work. He'll go home and write a 3-minute piece of music. And then he'll send that to me, and I'm like, sorry to hear you had a rough day. Thank you for the music. And so he turns something that's a negative experience he's going through into something positive. And then he likes to, every now and then, he'll go and see, like, we get positive comments on Vacation Impossible. Hey, great music with this video. And so, you know, he takes this negative and he turns it into a positive in the universe. And I absolutely respect him. Love him for doing that. So just something like that. You can showcase different art or whatever in your end screens. You know, maybe want to try your hand at writing some music. Another person in our group has written a couple of audio tracks for us as well. Mindy wrote a couple songs that we used for some of the Hawaii videos, I think. So, and I think the helicopter rescue. So anyways, that's just something. And then when you have your end screen, what an end screen is it can be up to the last 20 seconds of your video. You have to have at least one video that you're recommending that people can click on to go watch. But you can also create a subscribe button that's right there. And you could have a multitude of different things like that. You could have a subscribe button for another channel. You could have another video that, you know, that you recommend. One thing that's cool is when you have an end screen, there's an option where one of the videos can be best for user, where the YouTube algorithm tries to guess based on what it knows about the user what on your channel they'd want to watch next. I use it every time. I don't know what it's coming up with, but I'm getting some more watch time and views out of that, so why not? And again, if somebody clicks on an end screen, you can actually track in your analytics how many people are subscribing from that end screen. It may or may not be working for you, but if it's just prompting people to watch another video, and then they decide to subscribe because they've been exposed to enough of your content that they're ready to buy into you wholesale, you'll probably never really know that. But give it a shot. Why not, right? Another interesting thing you can do to kickstart subscriber growth. I know I say I don't watch videos, but I am going to click on one of your videos. I'm going to pause it, and then I'm going to jump ahead because I want to see if you have a watermark. I'm not seeing one. So this is interesting. The resolution here is interesting. What resolution is this? 1080. Okay. If at all possible, shoot in HD. Most phones are capable of that, and so you're going to want to shoot in 1080p if you can. 720p is also okay. Videos that are not shot in HD, I think, don't do well in the algorithm. So that's something that could be working against you. For example, my most popular video with something like 85,000 views is James Darren performing some songs in Las Vegas. And for the longest time, if you searched his name on either Google or YouTube, my video was #1. I owned that search term. It was great. I don't anymore. And I think part of it is because that video is SD. It is 480p. It's not HD, and I think that's part of why it fell out of favor, is because eventually the algorithm was like, we're only going to be, you know, we're not going to be showing SD stuff nearly as often. And I can understand that. So as much as, if at all possible, whatever you can do to shoot in HD is a good idea. But what I'm noticing here, and the reason that I kind of jumped ahead, is if you go into your channel, you can go and you can create a watermark. It's under branding. So you can set it so that after a certain amount of time in every video, 30 seconds, so maybe it doesn't pop up right away, there'll be a semi-transparent logo or image in the bottom right hand that people can click on to subscribe. That's just one more opportunity. Now that's actually cool because you set it at the channel level and it does it to all of your videos in the past and in the future. So that's another opportunity that people will have to subscribe. So to help jumpstart subscriptions, that is something that I recommend having. Somebody told you to check your email. Let's see here. What do we got here? This vlog is just a little update on Little Fred and talking about a recent subscriber actually being one of the people I looked up to for art. That's kind of nice. You got the 3 hashtags there, which is good. I think that another thing, just because I happen to be here, one thing I recommend is put your title in your description, because then you start to get what I call keyword alignment. If somebody searches senpai, I'm not sure how to say that, noticed me, you're more likely to come up as a result for that if that phrase exists in your description and in your tags. I also notice this video has no tags at all. Again, I'm using TubeBuddy here, so on the right-hand side, I've got my Videolytics tool. You'll see the best practices thing is here. It's telling me, yeah, you've got a high-res thumbnail. That's good. You've added captions. That's good. That is not easy. I know it's a 2.5-minute video, so it's not a longer one, but still, captioning is hard, so I respect you for doing that. No info card, no end screen, hasn't been shared on Twitter, hasn't been liked on Facebook. There's a comment there. It's kind of an unusual one, though. So I probably wouldn't harder pin it myself. So, you can't always pin and hard a comment if there's not a comment there that's good to do. You could write a comment yourself. I have mixed feelings about whether that's a good thing to do. But this is the kind of stuff that's helpful. Like it's saying here, you have no tags, so it's not ranking for any tags, and none of the tags appear in the title and description. But that's where I'm talking about having the same thing in the title, description, and the tags. That kind of alignment helps you. And so TubeBuddy is great. You can look at other people's videos to see how they do it. You could use this tool to look at your own videos to see the steps that you might have missed or things that you could add. And you get this with the free version. So if you don't have the free version of TubeBuddy and you want to be a success at YouTube, do you really want to be a success on YouTube? Because maybe you didn't know about it, but now you do, so you have no more excuse because I told you about it. Strongly recommend that tool. Getting back to Chronologically, I just want to look at what's going on with your views and your uploads. Okay, so views are relatively steady. And you've been putting out a few videos. But you see, the thing is, I would expect to see a view and subscriber spike around the time that these videos are coming out. I generally do, and I'm not seeing it here. And I think part of it is because some of those technical things are being missed. And I also wonder about where you're socially sharing things. I mean, you say that... Actually, here, let's take a look. Also, I notice you have no tags on your channel, so recommend adding keyword tags to your channel. Let's go take a look at your Twitter for a second. I'm kind of liking this new Twitter that they've rolled out to Vacation Impossible. They haven't rolled it out to my other accounts, but I've got this here. What kind of things you're tweeting about? I'm not seeing your videos. So, I mean, when you... Oh, wait, hold on. What's this? Oh, I have a Wattpad for those interested. That's fine. That's just my who to follow. I would like to be able to get rid of that. Some art and stuff. When you publish a new video, share it on Twitter. It's very easy. There's a little button when it's published, and you can just click on it. It'll share it to Twitter. And it'll just put the title, the link, and it'll say at YouTube. You can remove the at YouTube. I always do. You can flesh it out, add some hashtags, whatever you like. Another thing that's really kind of good about Twitter that is something to consider. I'll just quickly show you mine. You'll notice here it says pinned tweet. So when you tweet something, you click on the top right corner and you have the ability to... Oh, no, that was a retweet. If it's your own tweet, you can pin it to your profile, which means that it will always show at the top of somebody looking at your profile. And I recommend doing that. And if YouTube is your primary focus, if that's where you want your social media funnel to send people... If that's the goal, then you should have a pinned tweet that sends people there, either to your channel at large or a specific video that you think would help. So that's my new... I got a smaller funnel. And so, like, this is my view of social media. You have all your social media accounts here in the funnel, and it's driving traffic, but to where? What's your goal? If you want them to go to your Patreon or your YouTube or your Facebook or your Instagram, what's your primary social media target that you want all your people to go to? If they see nothing else, if you only see one of my websites this year, you should see what? That goes there. And then everything else funnels in towards that with that goal. And you can have all sorts of different content. I have a blog where I write about things, all sorts of things that I think are hopefully interesting. I hopefully think they're well written, that I think people will enjoy for their own sake. But I often make sure that if I reference my YouTube channel at all, to include that link to send them down the funnel to where I really want them to land. My goal is YouTube. That's the primary. And I mean, I have a little bit that I also want maybe the audio podcast might live like down in here somewhere, because I want to drive traffic to that as well. Those are sort of my two areas. But everything else is in support of that. But ultimately it's YouTube. So even the podcast, I'm hoping, drives traffic to YouTube. So you have the opportunity to pin a tweet that can have a link. And you can also add a website to your profile of your Twitter account here that can link to, again, that end of the funnel, your goal. If it's YouTube, go in. So looking at my Vacation Impossible one, you'll see here, there's the link icon, YouTube/Vacation Impossible. It'll take you right there. It's right next to the join date. Go back to yours. There's just a join date, no website. Go in there and do that. Flush out that profile. And if Twitter one day decides to look at your account and say, hey, maybe we should verify this person, should we give them that magic blue check mark that says, this is official, this is real, this is an authority, and they know what they're talking about, they're probably going to look, are you linked somewhere? Does the thing that you've linked look like you? You've got the same picture for your profile and your banner on Twitter as you have on YouTube, so that's good. So it's a consistent look. That's great. If you update one, update the other. In fact, I'm not that great at it. Looking at mine, that's a slightly older banner. I use a white font now, not so much the red. I need to update that. So if they were to come and look at me, they'd be like, okay, it's probably the same background image, so it's probably him. But let's not make it a probably. Let's make it a definitely that's him. If they, if the Twitter gods ever descend upon me and decide to verify me. Okay, just making sure that was all actually showing, because I just realized it was another tab. Okay, so we covered quite a bit of stuff there. I think I've just got another reply on Twitter. Let me just check. Blah, 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 blah. Thanks for the screenshot. We recommend getting in touch with our creator support team who can look into the specifics for you. Here's how. So it's just me? It's just my channel? Man, that would suck. I wonder how hard that is to do. Y'all want to watch me do that? Hey, I love lunch. Where did the funnel come from? It's, for people who do vlogs or live streams, anything like this where you got the camera pointed at you, if you can have a prop, why not? Like, hey, this might be a great thumbnail right here for this live stream. Somebody screenshot that for me. So, props are great because it makes it visually dynamic and interesting. I did a little bit of acting back in the day. I did improvisational theater stuff, whatever. And a lot of what they talk about is there's certain actors or people who think they are actors that think all the acting happens right here or right here or right here. But the simple fact is that people express themselves with their whole body, with their posture, with everything. And so use it all. Right? And so that's part of it. And props kind of help. Like here, I've got this old banged up business card. In case I want to talk about, hey, getting a business card. Hey, I got this old one and this is, banged up. What are the kind of useful props to have kicking around? Product placement. You gotta be a little shameless. So I've got my Vistaprint box of business cards here. More of the ones that I had ordered years ago before I even had my custom URL. This is before I had 100 subscribers. This was a birthday present. It was a bit of a gag gift. So it's got my email, my Twitter, my Facebook, and my Instagram on the back, but no YouTube because I didn't have the custom URL yet. And then I've got a promo box subscription on Vistaprint, which I do unboxing videos here on the channel. And they sent me this square business card, which is pretty cool. It's got my slogan, my new logo, and the website, and then the logo on the back. All right. See if I can make that look a little better. So I've got all that kind of stuff in my box here. And so I've got the box next to my speaker, and I put my funnel on that when I do a broadcast because a lot of people talk about funnels, especially if it's online marketing or entrepreneurs. They talk about like, oh, what's your funnel? The idea for funnels is like, it's collecting people and driving them to a product. And so like maybe it's, I run and this is not me talking, but I've seen other people talk about like, oh, I run a very, very large Facebook group and my goal is to get them to sign up for my mailing list so that I can then email them and get them to buy my product. Sometimes that's what the funnel can look like. That's often how it's discussed on Facebook, I've noticed with entrepreneurs and things like that. But I think this is my metaphor for pretty much all of social media. Build your funnel, build all of this stuff. I mean, and I've talked about before to at least lock down the usernames and protect your brand. I just recently, for example, I was thinking about that, and I'm like, I gotta follow my own advice, right? And so I was thinking, okay, I was redesigning my little banner thing here as well, and I'm like, okay, so you got Facebook/groups small YouTubers boost, but what about Facebook.com small YouTubers boost? What if somebody just went to that? And I'm like, there's nothing there. And there are imposters out there. There are people who try to pretend to be us, who pretend to be me. On Discord, other Facebook groups. They haven't really branched out beyond that I've seen, but who the heck knows? And I was like, well, what if they try to grab that URL? So I created a page for Small YouTubers Boost for one reason right now and one reason only. It was to prevent someone else from pretending to be us and get that URL. So just yesterday I created it. Go ahead and like it if you want. I'm not doing anything with it. I'm camping on it right now. But that is my intent, in case you're curious. And so that's building the different pieces of the funnel. And there's almost always more little guys that you can array around here to drive people where you want them to go. And it serves multiple purposes, like protecting your brand and your image. I get messages on Facebook from time to time, and they're like, hey man, there's this guy being a jerk in your group. And then I check, and I'm like, they're not in our group. What are you talking about? They're in another group that is trying to look like us, that is trying to copy what we've done. And that annoys me for a couple of reasons. One, we've got a really great group, and so if there's some group out there doing sub for subber nonsense in our name, that confuses matters, because then people come to our group and think, hey, sub for sub's A-okay, and I have to ban them. And, you know, we have a message, I believe. I believe that YouTube should be a level playing field for everyone, where the quality of your ideas is what brings you to the top. Not because you know a trick behind the scenes. So I'm trying to tell everyone all the tricks so that we all have a fair shot based on the quality of our ideas, maybe our hustle and effort, not because we didn't know about watermarks or we didn't know about end cards or TubeBuddy. I want to let everybody know about that so we all got a fair shot. And I want everybody to follow the damn rules. I don't want you cheating your way to the top. I don't want you doing sub for sub because it's against the rules. It'll get your channel shut down. So I'm out to tell people about that because I don't want sincere people who might feel a little desperate or whatever it is that might motivate them to try this thing that is fraud, that is cheating. You know, if there's something that makes people want to do that and they don't know the risk and the cost. And so I want to message that. And if there's other people who are taking whatever cachet Small YouTubers Boost has to tell people, no, go ahead and cheat, then that's working against our cause, and that's when it kind of bothers me. And it also bothers me when people message me and kind of waste my time. They're like, fix this problem in a group that you don't run. I'm like, I can't. How about you just come join the real thing, you know? Accept no substitutions when it comes to Small YouTubers Boost is, I think, maybe the message there. I must know all the secrets. That's what I'm saying. I want to know all the secrets too, and there's so much more for all of us to learn. And so, honestly, I'm thinking, like, let's go see about contacting the team. Should we just do it live? Okay, let's go to Cowman. I love that banner picture. That's me and Sam in Catalina. And that was just so much fun. So we were taking pictures and filming video for the channel for Vacation Impossible, having a little bit of fun. And there was this, it was like a log on a couple other logs, or like maybe it was one of those dividers, those concrete barriers, but it came up pretty high. And I'm like, well, this is funny. Let's take a funny picture, do a funny thing, right? And so I was like, here, you stand up on it and I'll stand next to it. And it's actually a stage combat thing from my acting days, where basically what you do for stage combat in a choke is wow, that actually looks really good. Thumbnail. Screenshot this. So anyways, the idea is you just gently put your hand there and then you let the person being choked do all the acting. So they sell it. And so I'm telling Sam about this. I'm like, let's pretend I'm choking you. We'll get you raised up so it looks like I'm actually like lifting you up with the choke, right? And then just really sell it. So, you know, like look like you're struggling to breathe or whatever, and just make a funny face. So we're having some fun with that. Unbeknownst to us, these two girls are watching what we're doing and they think we're hilarious, I guess. So I didn't even know that they photobombed us. So if you look at that banner picture, one of them, they're both smiling. One of them looks like they're punching the other one like right in the chin. And anyway, so like we took a couple pictures, we did a little kind of like mini photo shoot thing, and they came over and they said, "Hey man, that was really funny, you know, that was cool and stuff." And we're like, "Oh, thanks." They were like, "Yeah, you guys are funny, whatever." We didn't really talk much after that because I think they were on a different ship, or I don't know. We went our separate ways, and it wasn't until like later I got home and I'm going through the pictures and I saw that they did that and that they photobombed it. And I'm like, "That's amazing!" So for my personal Facebook page, that's the banner. For my personal Twitter, that's the banner. I think it's gonna be the banner until I die because I love that picture. So anyways, I wanted to find that tweet so that we can go through the process of contacting creator support. I've only done this once before. Contact the creator support team. If you're in the partner program, you can access our creator support team. All right. the one time I had to do it before was when before the new monetization rules came in. It took like 9 months to get monetized because apparently my channel got stuck and someone had to physically unstick it. And so it's something similar here. So how we can help. Whether you're facing a specific problem or you want to learn how to get the most out of it as a creator, optimize how to use YouTube, get tips on technical and service aspects. Well, this is all very intriguing, isn't it? Get answers on account and channel management questions, resolve content ID and rights management issues. I've had to fight about a half dozen false content ID claims on my channel. I've won them every single time. I have some language that I've crafted and refined over the years. So if somebody's facing something like that, I'd be happy to share some language that you could borrow to use to fight it. Hold on a second. I think I might need to cut things a little short. I'll check some messages here. It's the texting live stream. Yes, but I can wrap up soon if you'd like. It's not up to me, guys. Let's see what they say. Computer. Oh, it looks like you just sent an email. Language availability. From the YouTube Help Center, click Get Support at the top of any Help Center article. Click Get Creator Support, choose the category, email support. You'll only see this option if you're eligible. Follow the prompts to email our team. From YouTube, if you're on youtube.com, sign in, your account, click Help, Get Creator Support. Maybe I should do it. Okay, unfortunately I do have to go. I have to cut things a little bit short. Life does get in the way. So, anyways, this has been fun. I'm gonna try one last time. Sucker for punishment. I'm gonna try one last time to get my video monetized and see if it'll let me. Because wouldn't that be a great way to end the stream where I started off complaining about this? Let's all hope. Let's all say a silent prayer to the YouTube gods. Ah, wrong. I'm on the completely wrong browser window there. Sorry. Let's try this again. It's not a great tutorial if I can't show you what I'm trying. You can learn from my struggles. First world problems, right? 19 views, 2 thumbs up with 0 promotion. That's not bad. Our rankings are still kind of all over the place. All right, come on, monetization. I don't care how, just get past the bloody error. That's all I want out of life right now. I will soon also want a sandwich. Still not working. I'm gonna have to contact creator support. I don't anticipate that being a quick process. So anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. I do always try to end this with a sort of a challenge, something actionable that I want you guys to do. Let's see if we can have something here. Okay, what I want you to do, because I am the creator, owner, sole proprietor of Vacation Impossible, your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to go into your most recent video in the video manager and click edit. And I want you to go on the translations tab and see original language and see if that has actually been selected. If it hasn't, select the language that your video is in, and when you select it, there will be an option to set that as the default going forward. It's one of those little settings that's easy to forget, but if YouTube knows the language is being communicated in, then it can offer translation easier. So it's a simple, tiny little thing. It'll take you 90 seconds, but go do it. And other than that, thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate you being here. We went for 90 minutes. Not too bad for a surprise live stream. Remember, this is the month of Fridays, which means every Friday in April, I am going live with stuff like this. Hopefully a happier one next time where I can talk all about how things are going great and it's not me fighting an error. But anyway, so this Friday and every Friday for the rest of this month, I will be going live. Make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you can join the chat right away. That's how you get your request addressed, whether it's a tutorial, channel review, helping you get your video unstuck. Hopefully you saw how I was able to give some value to some other people. Hopefully the things that I said about other channels apply to yours. If not, hopefully I gave you a smile or a laugh. You can point and laugh at Ray struggling with errors, whatever works for you. But thank you very much for tuning in, and this live stream will self-destruct in 5 seconds.